Hello, my creative friends. Jessica Sanders here, colormecreativeart.com, and welcome to my channel. So today I have the super awesome August box from Creative Art Box. So let's do an unboxing and a speed draw. Let's see what's in here. Got my scissors. Here we go. Have not opened it yet, you can see, so it's all new to me. I love the surprise element. Yeah, okay, here we go. What have we got here? We've got, of course, they always include these great instructions. So this is the August Super Awesome Box. They also have the Awesome Box, which has one or two less items than the Super Awesome Box. So let's see. I have a whole list and all these nice tips. Maybe we'll look at that a little bit more later. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Here we go. And I'm not looking in the box, so I'm just pulling, but I can see, look, Kuretake. Everybody loves Kuretake, right? What is this? Oh, it's a book. Oh my gosh. This is a book to tell you how to do calligraphy. All right, that's going to be fun. Let's see if I can set that right here. You can see. What else do we have? My little flappy is getting in the way. Here we go. Then we have a brush writer. This is also from Kuretake. I love seeing all the Japanese writing on here. Can't read it, but I love seeing it. Look, it's lilac. Now that's pretty awesome. And a ZIG journal and title pen. It's two nibs. I can see two nibs, guys. And it's pink. Look at that very soft color of pink. Okay. We have to wait. We can't open them up yet. We have to wait. And another ZIG. This is a scroll and brush pen. So this also has two different nibs, and I'm thinking it's this dark blue color. Yeah, let's see. We'll talk a little bit more in a minute. We're just going to take them out, see what happens. Oh, I found my sticker. I dream in color. Yes. And I have all these colors in here. How fabulous is that? Did I just take this out without saying what it was? I did. This is a calligraphy blending collection from ZIG. Oh, and it has three colors. It has a dark, a medium, and a light. And it's dual tipped. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Look at this stuff. This is awesome. And then a ZIG blender calligraphy, which also is dual tipped. I'm so excited, guys. This is fabulous. Okay, I'm going to unwrap all this, then we'll try it out a little, then we'll do a speed draw. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I have everything unwrapped now, I think, and pulled out. So I want to say thank you first off to Creative Art Box for sending me this box so that I could try it out. I am like really excited to try all of these pens. I love pens, so this is going to be fun. But let's just do a little bit of testing first, and then let's do that speed drawing. So this pen is the brush writer, and I just wanted to show you how you have to open it up, take off this little circle, and put it back on to get the ink flowing. And this is a very liquid fluid ink and a very, see that nice, this feels very soft. In case you're wondering how that feels, it's stiff, but it's really soft. So okay, we're gonna try this out. And I have some, I was trying to figure out what kind of paper I should try it out on, and I just thought, well, I'll just try it out on some cardstock. These are all pigment markers. They're all water-based. So let's just test it. And you have to squeeze this to get the ink flowing. Again, I think. And use gravity, of course. And I really don't want it to go straight onto my, I'm holding it up. I want you to see. There you go. Now you can see it going out into the bristles. There you go. Okay, so now that ink is flowing very nicely. And these are calligraphy pens. I'm not a calligrapher. but I think calligraphy is beautiful, so let's just see what happens. So since they're calligraphy pens, and even though not a calligraphy person, like a calligraphy artist, I'm going to write with them, and so we can just test them out. So let's try out this brush writer. What's interesting to me about this brush writer is I see that the bristles are shorter than some brush pens. Look how wide they get. Wow. So I can make this really long. Whoa. This is messy, I know that, but just showing you the brushes. Okay, I'm just ended up writing the word brush. Wasn't really my intention, but hey. So you can see the really fine and really wide lines you can get with this. I would just like scribble and draw because I love to do that. And you can see actually I got a little bit better as I went along. That one's really shaky, but look how wide of a stroke you can get and how narrow. So that is super cool. But that is the thing I notice about this most is the bristles are shorter than most of the brush pens that I've seen, and I think that's because specifically for calligraphy. So I love that lilac color also. All right, I'm going to set that aside, and I used my whole entire paper for that. Now this pen is the only one that is not part of the ZIG Memory System collection. That these are all sort of a collection made specifically for calligraphy. And this book is from ZIG also, and it's a calligraphy book. So can you believe this? Creative Art Box sent the book also. I mean, that's fantastic. It tells you how to do this certain kind of hand in calligraphy. It's an italic. And it's very detailed. It has very detailed instructions, which has surprised me. Really surprised me. And it has these cool projects in it. Examples and samples. Look, this one's layered. That's cool. And then also what I found interesting is it lists the different kinds of the memory system calligraphy pens that they have. And it has tips for different ways to use it, creating gradations. There's some flowers, blending, borders, different ways to hold the pen, to make different size brush strokes and different kinds of brush strokes. So this is pretty exciting. And then also these are all pigment pens, which means they're water-based. And it tells you how to store them, that you should store them horizontally. That's very important to know about your pens. How do you store them? Because if you don't, they're not going to last. So I appreciate that they took the time to say, hey, here's how you store these pens. Store them horizontally. And they actually say if they're not positioned correctly, this will result in one of the tips becoming dry and unusable because they're dual tipped. So I just wanted to share with you that that important point is mentioned in here. And yeah, that's pretty cool. And then a little bit about this ZIG memory system. It is the premier line of markers designed specifically for scrapbooking and crafting. It has been continually named the best marker among scrapbookers and crafters. It doesn't say for how long, but hey, we all know we love ZIG pens. So this is definitely a super awesome box. So now let's get into trying these out a little bit. So this is a dual tip calligraphy marker set that helps you to create handwritten beautiful lettering. And this one comes in 3 in a set. And it has some instructions. I'm just going to open this up. I think this video is going to be longer than I expected, but I hope you don't mind. Okay, so it shows you basic pen strokes, how to blend by touching the tips together, different ways to touch the tips together. Gonna have to try this out. I haven't done it before, so we'll just see what happens. So those are those instructions. And then each pen, they're obviously color coordinated. Green has a very small You know what? I don't know what to call this nib. I'm trying to decide what to call it. It's not a brush nib. It is a type of bullet nib, but it's specifically for calligraphy. So you can see the shape of it. It's going to make a flat line. Okay, you can't see that ink very well. Let me get the darker one so I can show you better. Okay, so it has so they have the small tip and they have the wide tip. And I'm sure there are more specifications on here, but I'm just doing a quick overview for these pins. So you could just, whoo, I'm sure you can hold it differently and get different effects and get a really wide, this is all one nib, wide and skinny. There we go. And then the wide nib, let's just do the same thing. I would get a completely much wider mark, but I can get a slim skinny mark. There you go. Let me just do one quick sort of color blend. I'll use the really light. I'll touch the dark to the light just for a second. Not pressing, just touching. And I'm not covering the whole entire nib either, so it's not going to give me a complete covered nib. And then right. So I think it's very easy to see. You get a blended line there. And I know that, you know, to keep your pen's inks nice and clean, you want to keep coloring until that's all clear and gone again. There we go. Now it's back to the original color. So this is the line. Sort of a nice blend of color. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's how these sort of coordinating colors, what are they called? The blending collection. These are designed specifically to blend together to give you a gradation of color. That's pretty darn cool. I'm making a new piece of paper. I knew I was going to fill that piece of paper up. I had some more to the side. And actually, this is watercolor paper. I intended to use cardstock, but this was watercolor paper. So while I have it out, let's put some water on here. These are all water soluble because they're, let's see what happens. Yeah, it's gonna wick if you get it wet. So you can get a lot of watercolor effects with these as well. So look at that color. So that could be fun. So definitely the brush writer, you can see that ink moves a lot. But this blending set, that ink doesn't move very much. So that's just interesting to know. It's just a little different. I'm gonna set that aside. Get my new piece of paper. Next I have a scroll and brush pen. So these all have different nibs. This has a scroll nib and a brush nib. Oh, a scroll. So like in calligraphy, the scrolls are a little loopy. That's my definition of a scroll, not the official definition. Look at this. It's dual. It writes 2 lines at once. How crazy is that? That's a lot of fun. Okay. And then this one is brush. And this tip is a felt brush, not the bristle brush like the other one. And then we can go, but you can press down and get those wide strokes and skinny strokes. I'm just making shapes. I'm not writing any kind of word. You can get, just by lightly touching, this super fine. Look at that. I didn't really expect to get such a fine line with this pen, so I'm pretending to be a calligrapher for a minute. That is cool. The scroll and brush nib. It's a nice color of ink too. And then this is the journal and title. So that's a very fine pointed nib, and Okay, a broad nib. You know what? Okay, I just realized these are chisel tip, but they're just not angled chisel tip. So let's just go ahead and try this. So, nice. You can get that fine line with these tips also. And then this is a very fine pointed. It writes really nicely. So you don't really get a broad line at all with this. This is like journaling. So, you know, you can journal in your journal. I am going to love these markers. And then you can put the title on there. Title, big and bold. That's pretty cool. All right. I don't know what I'm doing with the Splendor pen yet. Let's try this. It also has two tips. So it has a sort of broad nib and a really broad nib. Just like these. Actually, it's the same size nibs as this blending set. So I'm thinking this goes with the blending set, right? So let's see what happens if I just write on the line. Does it blend out? Yeah, kind of does. Okay, but I bet you can also do the touch the tip thing so that you get... All of this is pigment ink, so I'm saying they're all interchangeable. And I'm thinking, no, that's the double nib thing. We don't use that. I'll use the brush nib. And just touch it. I'm just going to touch it there. This is just me experimenting. This is not recommended necessarily by ZIG. Just playing around. Just see what will happen. So I've got a nice light color. I'm sure this is actually made for blending two colors together. And also let's just say we have this. And let's do the pink. I'm going to put them right next to each other. And let's just see what happens when we use the blender. So I get a little bit of blending, but I'm guessing this is not the way you're supposed to use it. So I need to do a little bit of reading. Let's see what this says about the blender. Let's see. Okay, so let's find out. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. The scroll and brush, which is this one, and the blender, these are both for the Super Awesome box, and then all of the other supplies are in the Awesome box. So in the Awesome box, you would get the book and all of these pens, which is really nice. But then in the Super Awesome box, you get the book, all of these pens, plus these other two really cool pens. So, yeah. Just thought I'd share that. Okay, so let me look. It talks a little bit about calligraphy. It talks about the brush writer. It has blending tips. I'm trying to see if it specifically says the blender pen. Okay, so blending tips: take 2 ZIG markers for a few seconds, gently touch, nib to nib. Keep the 2 pens horizontal and ink will flow from the top pen into the tip of the second pen. So you use gravity to blend them on the nib. After using the blended pen, clean off excess ink onto scrap of paper. You may also try using a brush with water to create different effects. This is a nice little note. Hey, you're super awesome. So you received the Scroll and Brush pen and the Blender pen. ZIG Scroll and Brush is an exciting marker that opens up new possibilities to the art of hand lettering and calligraphy. The dual tip pen features an offset cut calligraphy tip that produces a scroll-like look when written with a 45-degree angle, so it matters how you hold the pen. The other end is a flexible brush tip for brush lettering or blocking in color. And then here's their challenge. Show us your name in calligraphy and get an extra supply in your next box. So guys, that's a challenge to you. You get the super awesome box or even the awesome box. Show Creative Art Box your name in calligraphy. I'm sure you can do the hashtag Creative Art Box on Instagram or Twitter. You can always connect with them. That's one thing about Creative Art Box. These are real people. I mean, you can talk to them and they will talk back to you. It's really nice. So you can contact them, but it says show us your name in calligraphy and get an extra supply in your next box. So there we go for that. Okay, so kind of went over the supplies, tried them out just a little bit and tested them. Showed how they can work with water a little bit. And so now I need to create an art piece or something with all of these supplies. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'll think of something. So I'm going to work on that. I'll be back. We'll do speed painting through it. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. Go and check out Creative Art Box on their website. Be pretty cool if you tell them that I sent you. And they have some great deals. They have a new surprise supply box every month, so it's a lot of fun just to get them and open them up and see what you get and then try it out. Okay, so I'll be back with my speed demo and I will see you soon.